Hey YouTube, it's Adam from I'm a Music Mogul, and welcome to another remake video. Today we'll be remaking Too Hotty by Migos, produced by Southside, so let's get straight to it. First things first, let's go ahead and set our tempo at 130 beats per minute. Let's go ahead and drag in the song that Southside produced for this record. The song is Uriel and it's called Carry Me. It's sort of like a orchestral type track. While you sleep, it's pretty cool that Southside turned that into a Migos track. So let's go ahead and try our best to sample the section that Southside used, and hopefully it sounds close to the one in the original of the track. What I feel that Southside sampled was this section right over here. So we're going to take that from over here. While you sleep. We're going to cut right there. Let's go ahead and chop off this. We don't need it. And this sort of chop right here turns into a 2-bar pattern. So let's go ahead and line that up right now. While you sleep, so right before the U, I'm just going to make this Y section a little bit faster. So I'm going to chop right there. And I'm going to hold down the Option key on my keyboard, go to the middle of the region, click and drag, and that will speed up that region. Let's push this back. While you sleep, while you sleep, Alright, so that sounds good just like that. Let's go ahead and just chop off this end. We don't need it. While you sleep, so now we have clicks and pops in this. What we're going to do right here is just add in a crossfade. So my secondary tool is set as a fade tool. So if I use my secondary tool on my keyboard, I hold the Option key, I hold down the Command key on my Apple keyboard. Click and drag over the two samples. That will give me a fade. I'm going to put a fade at the tops and bottoms as well. While you sleep, I'm going to go ahead and just make this a little tighter. While you sleep, Alright, next thing that we're going to do, we're going to bounce this in place so we don't have to work with two regions. We'll just be working with one nice region. So bounce in place. And let's call this Too Hotty chop. And we got our sampled region right here. While you sleep. Let's not worry about this one anymore. We can go ahead and delete that. And now let's just go ahead and apply some effects to this right here. So the first thing I'm going to apply is a pitch shifter plugin. We need to pitch this up 1 semitone. So let's go 1 semitone. We'll turn our mix to 100%. And we get this. While you sleep, while you sleep. Next thing we're going to do, we'll open up an EQ. And let's just filter out some of the lows. While you sleep. Maybe focus in on the vocals right here at 2K. While you sleep. Maybe we'll add in some reverb as well. Let's go to reverb, platinum verb. While you sleep, while you sleep, while you sleep. Alright, so that is pretty much the foundation to the beat. Next, let's go ahead and add in some of those drums. Go ahead and create a new softer instrument track. Actually, we have one right here. Let's delete that. Keep our session nice and clean. I'm going to pull up Logic's EXS24 sampler instrument. And we're going to pull in the Migos Too Hotty drum kit. A lot of you ask me how do I get the sounds in my drum kit and how I put it together. And why don't I include it in these tutorials? Well, pretty much I don't want you guys watching me for like 20 minutes trying to find the right sample to use. So I keep that all off camera and then sort of have the drum kit ready to go. So you don't have to see me sort of cycle through all of my drums until I find the right one. It's a lot of A and B here, so I try and leave that out. So let's go ahead and just change this back to the pencil tool. Oh, keep missing it. And let's draw in that 808 pattern. Now the 808 pattern is actually 8 bars long, so let's increase this a whole lot. So there's 8 bars. Here's our 808. And let's start off here. So I'm going to go to a nice low octave. And let's go ahead and start drawing in those 808s. Let's just go ahead and lower this a little bit. All right, let's move over to the next section. Drag this out a little bit more. Okay, let's move over to the next 2 bars. We are almost there. We just got another 4 bars left. All right, this is long. Hopefully all this ties together. I'm sort of trying to get it right here. We have a little stutter right here. And then a nice little stutter to round out the pattern. All right, so that is the 808 pattern right there. Let's go ahead and take a listen. Go ahead and bring in our snare. Let's switch back to our pencil tool so we can draw in this snare pattern. And no, I don't want to loop that. Oh, that's our hi-hat. We're not ready for our hi-hats just yet. There it is right there. All right, so that sounds good like that. Looks like we still have to add in another fade at the end of this. What we did earlier, I guess, was not good enough. Let's go ahead and just bring in a fade. Just do a little fade at the end. All right, hopefully this should be good now. And let's speed things up here. Let's go ahead and create another instance of this drum kit. And let's go ahead and draw in that kick. Let's go ahead and just open up this region up and let's draw in that kick. Let's change this back to pencil tool. Okay, all we have to do right here now is just duplicate this for a span of the 8 bars. The kick is fairly easy. Now the fun part comes into place. Let's go ahead and create another instance of this kick right here, or the drum kit, and we're going to draw in those hi-hats. Go ahead and open up this region and get to our hi-hats. Let's go back to the brush tool and let's get to making that pattern. So right here we have a quick 30-second note stutter. Let's change our brush tool to 30-second notes. Paint in 4 there. Switch this up to 8. We have another stutter right there. So let's go back to 30-second note and put in a nice stutter. All right, let's change this back to our 8th note. All right, we have another, I'm gonna copy this over to hopefully speed things up. Let's go like this. All right, so I believe that's how it went. And then it goes something like this. Change this to 30-second note. Change this back to 8th note. And we get something interesting here. Change back to 30-second note. Kind of goes up and then down. All right, let's move on to the next 4 bars, or the next 2 bars at least. We'll do 2 bars at a time to make it easy on myself. Maybe we'll just copy over this piece right here. All right, so I think it goes something like that. It repeats itself, and then we have a bunch of 8th notes here. Not sure what happened to these. Actually, no, this should have been a stutter here. for the last 2 bars, we are almost there, guys. Sorry about this long patterns. Let's go ahead and put another stutter here. Switch back to an 8th note. Actually, we'll do a 16th stutter. Then back to an 8th note. So in trap music, the hi-hats kind of alter between 16, 8, and 32. And here's where that 32 comes back in. It happens here again. This comes over. Kind of get that little bounce there. Let's go ahead and put in some more 8th notes here. Get another stutter. And then it kind of drops out here to give you that stop and then go. So here it is, the pattern in its entirety. And this is pretty much the beat right here. So for the next section of this track, I went ahead and sampled a piece from Too Hotty because Southside went ahead and cut up another section of that original sample to make up this thing right here. Let me just drag that in. And it sounds like this. Alright, so I didn't want to waste time and kind of to keep this tutorial dragging on, so I kind of chopped up and sampled that piece. So this goes for 8 bars as well. So what happens here is the 808s come in as well. Alright, so something like that happens, and then this goes again for another 8 bars with the 808, and then we get this interesting whistle sound. So let's go ahead and recreate that. I'm going to create a new softer instrument track, and we're going to go ahead and draw in this pattern right here. It's another 8-bar pattern. Hopefully it doesn't take us too long. We'll be using Logic's ES2 synthesizer for this sound. Let's go ahead and just turn off oscillators 2 and 3. We're just going to be using oscillator 1, and it's going to be set to a sine wave. We're going to pull down our cutoff to about 7 o'clock. Let's go ahead and draw in that pattern. We'll come back and adjust our ADSR after. All right, so let's go to a high octave here. Let's bring in our brush tool. It's got a 30-second note happening. Let's pull in an 8th note. This kind of overlaps each other. And this gets copied over. And this gets copied over again. Except for the last 4 bars, this changes up a little bit. We just add in a note at the bottom here. And then we duplicate that to here. All right, so let's go ahead and get this sound a little bit more whistly. We're gonna pull up the attack to about the midpoint of this 3. We'll pull up our decay. Let's just pull up our volume to make it a little bit louder. We can shorten this up a little bit. If we wanted to, we could also add in some glide. I'm gonna pull that up here to about 9 o'clock. And we can go ahead and add in some reverb as well. Let's use Logic Space Designer. So something like that happens, and then this comes back into play. Let's push that over. And then for the intro, this also repeats itself for the beginning part. So let's go ahead and push this back to here. And let's cut up this. I'm going to bring in one section for the intro here as well that I sampled from the original track. So I'm going to pull that in here. All right, so that's pretty much the arrangement for the entire track, and it repeats itself at different parts throughout the record. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the remake we just put together, Too Hotty by Migos, produced by Southside. So that right there is the remake of Too Hotty by Migos, produced by Southside. For you Logic users out there, I'm going to go ahead and save this entire session for you guys and place that as a downloadable link in the description box below this video. For you non-Logic users out there, I'm going to go ahead and export all these MIDI stems, include these audio loops right here, and of course include that drum kit that you heard in this remake. I'll also put that playback in the description box below this video. If you have any questions on this, you can ask me in the comments below. For more good videos like this one, remember to hit that subscribe button. And as usual guys, I'll talk to y'all soon. Later. Peace.